On January 6, 1994, figure skater Nancy Kerrigan was attacked as she left practice at Detroit's Cobo Arena. A man named Stant struck her knee with a collapsible baton he had bought for $59. Stant was hired by Jeff Gillily, the ex-husband of Tonya Harding, and her bodyguard Sean Eckhart. At the time of the attack, Tonya was nowhere near Detroit. She was in Portland, Oregon, 2,000 miles away, practicing at an ice rink surrounded by witnesses. She had a clear alibi, but within days the media treated her as if she were guilty. The FBI questioned her for 10 hours, and the press followed her relentlessly. News networks sent dozens of reporters to Portland, bribed neighbors, sifted through her trash, and fought to outdo each other for the most sensational coverage. The attack turned the 1994 Winter Olympics into one of the most watched sporting events in history. But the question lingered. Was this ever about justice or was it about business? To understand how it got there, it helps to know where Tonya Harding came from. She was born in Portland, Oregon, and raised in a working-class family. Her mother, LaVonna Golden, worked multiple jobs, waiting tables, tending bar, cooking food, just to afford skating lessons for her daughter. Tonya first stepped onto the ice at 3 years old. She wore no expensive skates, no custom costumes. Her mother sewed her outfits by hand. Her childhood, however, was not only poor but violent. She later recalled her mother hitting her with a hairbrush at competitions, and once throwing a steak knife at her, leaving it lodged in her arm. Though her mother denied it, Tonya carried those scars. Her father taught her how to fix cars, and by her teenage years she could repair engines and brakes while also working odd jobs at ice rinks to pay for training. She dropped out of high school in 1987, got her GED the next year, and continued to chase skating, though it was always a struggle to afford it. What made Tonya different on the ice was her power. While most skaters aim to glide gracefully, she attacked the rink with explosive speed and strength. Judges, who preferred ballet-like elegance, often scored her harshly, but she didn't back down. In 1991, at the U.S. Championships, she became the first American woman to land a triple axel in competition. She was only 20. Later that year she set 3 more records. First to land a triple axel in the short program, first to land 2 in one event, and first to combine one with a double toe loop. Her rival Nancy Kerrigan came from a different background. She had Vera Wang dresses, corporate sponsorships from Reebok, L'Oreal and Campbell's Soup, and even starred in a Christmas special. Tonya had nothing of the sort. One judge once told her that if she wore another homemade dress she would not be invited back. Tonya shot back that if they wanted her in a fancy outfit, they could give her $5,000. She had no filter, no fear, and that attitude unsettled people. Even before the scandal, the media had cast Tonya as the villain. In 1992, Sports Illustrated labeled her the trash-talking bad girl of figure skating. Instead of focusing on her athletic achievements, they emphasized her smoking habits, her working-class background, her choice of rock songs for skating programs. At the 1994 Olympics, the Chicago Tribune even ran an article about her looks instead of her skills. She was 24, yet was treated as a tabloid character rather than an athlete. Her personal life only fueled the press. She had married Jeff Gillily in 1990 and filed for divorce twice by 1991, yet he continued to manage her career. Their relationship was abusive, but reporters cared more about the drama than the reality. By the time of the attack on Kerrigan, the narrative was set. Nancy was the graceful princess, Tonya the bitter outsider. When cameras captured Nancy on the ground crying, "Why me?" it became an iconic television moment, replayed endlessly. Gillily's tapes and confessions implicated himself, Eckhart, and Tonya to varying degrees. Tonya did not plan the attack, but she knew pieces of what happened after the fact, and she failed to report them quickly to the police. That failure became the charge she eventually pled guilty to: hindering prosecution. What followed was not just a criminal case but a media circus. CBS sent 30 people to Portland. Connie Chung rushed to interview her, and within 2 weeks Tonya had been interrogated for 10 hours. By late January, Gillily had turned himself in and was cooperating with the FBI, offering testimony that implicated her. Though Tonya's guilt was not clear-cut, public opinion had already convicted her. Kerrigan's $9.5 million in endorsements were repeatedly contrasted with Tonya's lack of sponsorship, feeding the narrative that jealousy was her motive. The networks raked in millions as the Olympics became spectacle. But what played out was not only about two women. It was about class, gender, and media power. Nancy fit the mold of what judges and sponsors wanted. Elegant, graceful, polished. Tonya was scrappy, direct, and unapologetically working class. She once skated to Wild Thing, something traditionalists saw as outrageous. The press framed it as princess versus white trash, and it stuck. Reporters mocked her appearance, her voice, her home life. She was constantly harassed, with photographers using flash during her practice jumps, causing her to fall. CBS even broadcast her practice sessions live. At the Lillehammer Olympics, the media outnumbered athletes 3-1. Some reporters even bribed neighbors and faked identities to dig up personal records. When Tonya pled guilty on March 16, 1994, she was sentenced to 3 years of probation, 500 hours of community service, $160,000 in fines and costs, and a psychiatric evaluation. But the harsher blow came from the U.S. Figure Skating Association, which banned her for life. No other skater had ever received such punishment, even for worse crimes. Gillily went to prison, Eckhart did as well, but they were eventually free. Tonya lost the only career she had. Standing in court, she pleaded, saying skating was all she knew, that banning her was like giving her a life sentence. Her life afterward was a struggle. With her reputation destroyed, she scraped by with odd jobs, from welding to landscaping. In 2002, she fought Paula Jones in a televised boxing match, earning $50,000 while millions laughed. She tried wrestling, worked in retail, did anything to survive, and was mocked for every attempt. In her memoir, she revealed that she had tried to take her own life more than once, overwhelmed by relentless harassment. She said she had endured molestation and rape as a child, abuse from Gillily as a teenager, and years of exploitation by the press. Instead of compassion, she was treated as entertainment. For decades, she lived under the shadow of that scandal until the release of the film I, Tonya in 2017. Directed by Craig Gillespie and starring Margot Robbie, it presented her life with nuance, showing the cycle of abuse she endured from her mother and husband, and exposing how the media shaped her downfall. It reminded people that she was not simply a villain, but a survivor of poverty, violence, and systemic bias. The film earned 3 Oscar nominations, with Allison Janney winning for her role as Lavana. For many, it was the first time Tonya's side of the story was